Greetings! It is I, SoftTibbies, and I'm here with a legend, a god amongst men. The Norse gods even pray to this man for his level of thickness skill. He is a man that many don't even speak of because they're afraid they might summon him. It is the man. Please introduce yourself.
Oh, dang, I spilled my dang coffee all over my shirt. It's me, SuperSpoe. What's up?
Now, my first question for you is, was that coffee really warm?
Luckily, it was only room temperature, so it's fine. But,
God. Should we redo that?
No, it's fine.
Sure.
I love it.
All right. I'll just cut out the part where I'm laughing my ass off. All right. So, what is with the fancy name?
Fancy is a way to describe it because it mainly just came from me misspelling my old username I would use on like different types of MMOs and stuff. Like I was really big into that old EA game Spoe. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's a dumb game, but either way, I really like that. So I would call myself Spore Tamer a lot, and eventually I made a DeviantArt and typed that in, but mistyped it. And since you can't change your name on DeviantArt without paying, I just sort of rolled with the Spoe thing, and that's how we are here today.
So, you started on DeviantArt, I noticed, and you really started posting your art around like 2015. Do you prefer Twitter or DeviantArt more?
Well, I don't know. They both have their pros and cons. I mean, there's more people on Twitter than DeviantArt, but DeviantArt has a much better archival system. You can actually search things in someone's account. So, both are pretty good. I do miss Tumblr, though, since it kind of had the best of both. But what can you do there?
So, when did you start drawing, like, seriously, and why?
I mean, probably 2015, really. That's when I really started taking it, like, really seriously, like posting online and stuff. I just sort of thought, I mean, it's always something I've wanted to do and have done casually, but just something I thought that would be interesting to try out. Just sort of put it out there and see what happens.
So, were you inspired by anyone to start drawing, or like who are your art inspirations?
I have a few. When it comes to, you mean like from other artists or like just general like in the industry sort of stuff, or what do you
Both.
mean? Well, a lot of my stuff, I think I tend to lean more sort of Western influenced. I like Paul Robertson's stuff a lot. The guy, the pixel animator who does all that stuff. Brian Lee O'Malley's a big one. I like Ichiro Oda a lot. One Piece. That's probably one of my favorite things in general. I just really like the style of that. Just stuff that's a bit more, shape based and cartoony over like realism. Not that I have like any problem with realism. It's just, I have my sort of like in the more expressive stuff.
So, I noticed your style is very, like, not out there per se, but it's very different than other people's. What would you say? I mean, you mentioned it a little bit, but do you have any like definitive answers to how you got to the style that you are at now?
I mean, it's the same way anyone develops any style. You just kind of mishmash the things you like together and then just sort of like mix that with actual, studying of like real anatomy and then just sort of, you know, put those together and to get something that you like. I mean, the thing about like no one really tries to have an art style. You just sort of like take the things you like and put them together.
So I noticed you have a specific drawing form. So what gave you the sickness for the thickness?
Just That's a really tough question. There's hmm, just just liking big ladies and of varying sizes. Just watching a lot of other artists, especially like when I first started my DeviantArt account in 2012, and I basically used it to lurk and look at other artists' stuff because that was sort of my first big art place where I'd go to just to look at random stuff, and it was interesting. And I was like, I want to try to do some of this.
Do you recall any of these artists, or do you have any like specific artists like in the community that you really look up to?
So I mean, there are definitely a lot. I like Girth and Big Dad a lot. Those are two big ones. I think those are two that I definitely try to uh, look at for inspiration in terms of sort of their general styles and form and all that stuff. But other than that, a lot of different artists like some like Jito or American Dream and just all kinds of different people. It's a big mishmash. Like I think a good part about just if you want to draw is just never like stick down to one particular person. There's tons of different artists out there that all have varying styles and stuff, and there's always hundreds of different people you can take inspiration from.
So, of all these artists that you like mentioned and stuff like that, I noticed you do art trades a lot. But if like of all of those artists, is there one specifically that you'd really like to do a collaboration with? And if so, who and what would you guys work on?
Um, I don't know. I mean, when it comes to collaboration, it's like it's one of those things where I I think just anyone I'm really mutuals with, I would like to do that with. I tend to follow artists I really like, and if I like their stuff, I would like to do some sort of collaborations. But usually, I don't really have project ideas in mind. Usually, it's just something like you know, like art trades, like you said, just something simple that we can kind of send to one another.
So, do you have like a favorite piece that you worked on specifically, like art trade or anything?
I mean, I have a couple. It's hard to say. I mean, every year I try to comb through my stuff to try to find some of my favorite stuff, things I've made, and I'll usually repost those on my account to be like, here's some stuff. Like since it's New Year's right now, the stuff I liked from 2020, I'll post those. But like, here's some stuff I liked, and same for every other year. But I mean, it just varies from time to time. There's some things I really like when I drew it in 2017, but I'll look back at it now. I'm just like, oh, that's awful, which I guess is, a sign that you've improved somewhat, I guess.
Well, one thing about you that has always fascinated me ever since I started seeing your art around like 2018
Mm.
was your consistency and the frequency of how like well you draw. You seem to improve with every drawing that you have. Do you have any tips like of how to draw more frequently or consistently?
I mean, I think it's just best for people to work with a schedule that works with them. Like, I at least try to draw, a one or like two or three things a week. But you want to draw what works for you. Like, don't burn yourself out and think, oh, I have to draw something every single day in order to get anywhere. And it's like, just sort of draw what makes you comfortable, and just try to do different things and try different, shading styles and, different types of ways to draw things to sort of make things more interesting. And I don't know. Otherwise, I just do a lot of figure drawing too. Like I know with how 2020 was, it was kind of hard for me to get out and do figure drawing like I used to because one, there were no classes, and two, it was hard to find any people. So, but whenever those open back up, those are definitely something you should do. It helps you sort of break down forms easier and do them quicker, which then translates to, I guess, drawing Twitter porn if that's your poison that you pick.
So You mentioned form, and it got me thinking. I noticed you do animations like a little bit. Are you ever, because you do like more limited animations? Are you ever planning on like doing like a full like animation, like 24 frames per second, stuff like that?
Um, I mean, if I do, I'd have to have a pretty good idea for it. Like, I don't know. I just kind of draw whatever comes to my mind. Sometimes I'm like, I want to try to animate this thing, but also, I don't want to like get burnt out on it. Like, if I spend like 3 days on animation, it's like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. But if it's like something I really, you know, have a good idea for, then I might, you know, make a longer animation.
So, do you prefer making like comics or like progressions, or do you prefer more like single pieces? Because you seem to do a lot of both.
I mean, I definitely like doing comics a lot. It's definitely something I do more in my on other accounts that aren't NSFW. I I like doing comics a lot. I like reading comics and manga a lot. Those are honestly probably read more manga than I do anime. I mean, just like it's just something I get into more. So I just like comics more typically.
So I noticed I was checking out like your commissions and stuff like that. I noticed you actually have like really cheap commissions for like your level of skill and quality. So I was wondering to myself, why don't you have like a Patreon or like a subscribe star or anything like that? You ever thought of doing something like that?
Yeah, I have. I just when it comes to like Patreon and Subscribe Star, I don't know. I haven't really felt the need for it at the moment. That might change in the future, but right now I feel like just doing like 25 or 30 commissions like every month or two is like enough for me. That sort of gets everything in order that I need money wise. I don't want to be bogged down too much by that kind of stuff because like I like doing this, but I also don't want to feel like that I have to do it. And if I feel like if I open up those sort of venues, then it might start weighing down on me and burn me out a bit.
Hmm. So you mentioned obviously that you don't want to do too much and then like burn yourself out, which is very smart. But do you have like a favorite part of the art process that like really keeps you going back and doing it?
Well, for a while it was line art, and I do like still like doing line art, but I have been getting a lot more into coloring and rendering as of late. I always felt like I was sort of lacking in that for the longest time, so I've been trying to get into that and have been enjoying that. But I mean, I've kind of just on different. Some days I'll enjoy sketching more and won't like line art. Some days I'll hate coloring. Like it just sort of depends usually on how I'm feeling that particular day, I guess.
So, of all of the things that you do you have like a picture in your head? You say you don't really plan out stuff, but do you have like a thing in your mind of where you want to be like at the end of the year or something like that? Like what's your ultimate goal with your art?
I mean, yeah, I try to have like little milestones and stuff. Like, last year it was to make some comic pilots, although that was more on the SFW side. But I did manage to accomplish that, and a lot of my art goals tend to be more SFW focused. But for NSFW, it's just more like just sort of draw what I want to. Maybe do some like short-term comics or animations, or try out new like things, and just sort of keep doing it if you like it. Essentially, when it comes to the NSFW side.
So a lot of your goals are with safe for work. Do you like to keep your safe for work stuff separate from your not safe for work stuff?
Yeah, I generally think that's like a pretty good idea. I mean, even if like you don't care, it's still like you should probably. It's usually a good idea to keep the two separate.
Would you ever consider merging them so both fans could see, both sides?
Uh, no, I mean, if people want to see the other side, they can DM me, and sometimes I might retweet something that I liked from my Suitable for Work side and bring it over to the NSFW, and then for a little bit, and then get rid of it so it doesn't clog up the feed. But generally, I just kind of do suitable for work stuff for like mental health reasons, because like if you do the exact same type of content over and over again, you're gonna hate it later. So you got to sort of give yourself like little mental breaks from stuff sometimes.
So, like, about you specifically, is, like, there any fun facts or anything you want your fans to know about you?
Um, any facts to know about me? Yeah, sure. My routing number is 443872. And otherwise, that's all you need to know.
So, what is your credit card number and what is the number on the back?
Uh, and you're really hitting the hard questions here. You already have the routing number, but yeah, either way, in order to figure that out, you'll have to look in the description.
So, my final question for you is a philosophical mystery that I still don't understand. But maybe you can shed some light on this. I'm still on the endless crusade trying to figure out if someone has the answer. What is the deal with airline food?
I mean, there aren't any airlines anymore, so I mean, the deal is that why does it still exist? It's like, no one's going on planes. Like, why would you eat airline food when you're not on an airline? That's like illegal, I think. You're gonna go to jail and like not have a good time.
So, a bonus question. Why is it that you don't like mayo? What do you have to say to the people who do like mayo?
I don't consider people who like mayo people, so I have nothing to say to them because I don't consider them people. Because it's yucky. It's nasty. I hate it.
Well,
Don't like it.
folks, you heard it here. If you hate mayo and like really thick ladies, or if you want to see some of his safe for work stuff, DM him on @SuperSpoe on Twitter.com. And thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, no problem.
Now, have a great day, everyone, and I hope this year is a good one. Have a good one.